Kyle Gabhart of Equip Your Marriage, and I'm going to talk to you about a marriage tip. We're going to look at marriage tip number 1. Ask God to help you see your spouse like He does. This was a really profound thing for my wife and I when we first discovered it, to really understand what that was about. You see, when we look with human eyes, we have a very limited perspective. When you look with God's eyes at the exact same situation, or in this case, when you look at your spouse, it completely changes the perspective. So from a human perspective, we see someone as attractive or not attractive. We look at the outward appearance, and that shapes what we think about them. But through God's eyes, He sees someone as accepted. Doesn't matter how they look, doesn't matter how they talk, they're accepted for who they are. With human eyes, we look to see if someone makes us happy. We're concerned with how we feel and what the interaction is like and if they're fun to be around. But through God's eyes, He sees us as holy. We're set apart, intentional. And it doesn't matter how you feel. You've been created as a unique creature. From a human perspective, we think in terms of progress. We think about what you've succeeded at, what you've failed at, how well have you done. We evaluate and compare each other. And we do the same thing in our marriages. We compare whether or not we're getting ahead, whether or not that person is helping to do the things that we feel like we need to accomplish. But in God's eyes, you have a purpose. That purpose may not be something that's measured in terms of success and failure. It may have nothing to do with money. It may have nothing to do with popularity. And have everything to do with the way that you're impacting other hearts and other lives. Human eyes look at the face. We're concerned about the outward appearance. But through God's eyes, He looks at your heart. He knows how you've been created. He knows how you're wired. And first and foremost, what God sees in your spouse is that your spouse is His child. Your spouse was His child long before they were your mate. Before you said the vows, before you even went on your first date, that was His son or His daughter. And when He looks down, He doesn't see their flaws. He doesn't see what they look like. He's not concerned so much with how they make you feel. He's not worried about what they do. He's simply worried about who they are. And who they are in Him is His child. And so as you go throughout your marriage, as you encounter conflicts, as you get frustrated because they're not accomplishing the things, because they don't look the way you want them to, or they don't make you feel the way you want at any point in time, or they're not doing the things you think they should, remember that from God's perspective, that's His son. That's His daughter. And when He looks down, all He sees is someone that's accepted and holy, created for a divine purpose, and it's His precious child that He loves dearly. Treat your spouse with the kind of care that they deserve, as a precious child of God, as you would your own child. That's today's marriage tip. Ask God to help you see your spouse the way He does. Also take a look at 1 Samuel 16 and verse 7, where God describes that He looks at the heart rather than looking at the outward appearance the way we tend to. Thanks so much, and you can always find us on equipyourmarriage.com.